Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm Blair.
And I'm Kirsten, and we are mediocre
Mediocre
content. And it has been a while.
We are 15 minutes early. I would just like to congratulate ourselves on that.
Also, I want to make sure I can freaking hear you. So one moment, please.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to not be talking to the void. That'd be nice.
Oh, I can hear you. Yay!
Wow.
Wow.
Love that for me.
Oh my god, we did it!
We did it.
Amazing.
Yay.
That is pretty amazing, actually.
I think so.
Welcome to the pod, everybody. Also, welcome to seemingly the final pod before hiatus happens, honestly.
Yes.
Sad but true. And of course, for our final pod, my bit rate is unstable, so.
And mine's not, so we're doing great.
It's great. It's just a role reversal. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
With that in mind, though, I guess realistically, let's go through our dailies here and see just how mediocre we are.
Indeed.
Probably a good place to start. Any updates for the crowd?
Let's see. We have the void here on his heating pad.
Very cozy.
He is. He is very cozy. Let me see if I can fluctuate my arms to like go underneath. I don't think I can. It doesn't bend this way.
So awkward.
Annoying.
My arm doesn't bend 360 degrees.
You know what? It's a hinge system, and I think it's flawed.
What was my arm thinking?
What else? We're talking about perfume today, thanks to Kirsten. What a lovely topic she picked for us today.
It is pretty on topic. I would say mostly because we've been talking a lot about people who don't bathe recently for some reason.
Yes. So sneak peek for the pod next week. It's going to be about swimming pools. And the reason why swimming pools are a thing is because people didn't used to bathe, and so like when they decided, oh yeah, that's probably a good thing for me to do, they made massive swimming pools because nobody had indoor plumbing. Yeah. And some of them were very ornate and like very beautiful, so I highly recommend like looking into it. But
yes, and also please just bathe.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. With that, we are 49% mediocre. So, I mean, 50-50.
I like that.
We're 57% smarty pants.
It's more than half.
It is. It's way more than half.
And
however,
depending on what school district you're in, that could be passing.
That's true. American grading is weird. And then we only get 2 stars today out of 5. But
I feel personally attacked. That's fine.
It's okay. Because we are an 8 on the freshness scale, which is perfect because I actually did bathe before this.
That's amazing. I'm happy for you. I just did something to my hair.
I carried the freshness scale today.
You did. You carried it.
Heavy burden, but one that I'm
We
willing
appreciate
to do.
that about you.
Honestly,
as a person.
That's fair. I get that. I also... Do you want to go over your beverages?
Oh,
I feel like we
yeah,
do that personally, but not
you know
usually
what?
here.
I think this is the best part of the whole show. Okay. So I have in a glass cup that I got from Target recently. I got a set of 4. They're really cheap, but I like the sizing of them.
It is a good size.
It's not like pint glass. It's like still cup, you know? Anyway.
I want that size. You say you got that from Target?
Yeah. They're from Target. They're 16 ounces, $2 a piece.
That's so cute.
And they're stackable, which is nice. And then, so this is Diet Dr. Pepper.
Oh.
A plot twist.
Look at you.
I know. Chris has really been on a Dr. Pepper kick recently, and he has dragged me along with him. So.
How do you feel?
It's not bad.
Good.
It actually it gives me like, you know how Diet Dr. or Diet Coke is like crispy.
It is,
and it's like got that bite to it where it's like almost alcohol, but it's not alcohol. You know what
Agreed.
I mean? Sometimes, yeah. Okay, so this is like regular soda. It gives regular soda. Diet Dr. Pepper has no hint of like this is sugar free. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's good because they have like what 175 flavors in there or something.
I believe
It's like
it's
something like that.
23, but
So,
okay.
I mean, close enough, really.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So this is Diet Dr. Pepper with a glass straw and ice.
Okay. Okay.
And then I have my large jug of water.
Nice jug.
Thank you so much. Also from Target.
Love.
Yeah, and that's the only beverages I have right now.
Okay. I have a fully drank Diet Coke caffeine free.
I like it.
Sad. And then I traded my soap water for more soap water because it still tastes like soap. I just put it in a different container. I don't know why everything tastes like soap. I don't know if like they didn't get rinsed out enough in the dishwasher or if
Did
my
you put
water
cilantro in your water?
I didn't, and ironically, cilantro doesn't do that to me either. So I have no idea what's happening. Who put soap in my water? I'm still gonna drink it though.
Unclear. Yeah.
That's the sad part. I don't even know like what's happening. What's happening?
Welcome.
Hi Nat, how are you? Happy Thursday.
I don't know why, but like when I said welcome, the first thing that popped into my head. Did you see the Bo Burnham special where he sings like about Jeff Bezos and stuff like that?
I've seen clips. I've never actually seen it though. Yeah.
Highly recommend watching it. But also he has a song in there and it's like welcome to the internet. Something. And it's like all about like weird things that happen on the internet, and it's like very catchy, and I think about it a lot. But anyway,
when you say welcome,
yeah,
I just think of Maui. What can I say except you're welcome?
Chris is obsessed with that song.
This makes sense.
Yeah,
he's the Disney princess.
He is the Disney princess of the two of us.
Right.
That's true,
and he wears it very well.
He does.
We
a good
appreciate
job. That about him.
Yeah.
And like when we go to Disney, I don't really have to do anything. I just have to be like, I want to eat this and this and this, and he just takes me around. It's like
it's
perfect.
the best.
It's amazing.
Ma'am. Hi.
Is this Puma?
Of course.
Pooms.
But she's hey. Okay, well your dad's downstairs. You can go hang out with your dad. No? We're having a staring contest.
I think Puma's in trouble.
You can go hang out with your dad. We're gonna play the circle game for a while. But anyway, while she's playing the circle game, we can disclaim, so it's fine.
The void is here.
The void is very cozy.
Yes. On the heating pad.
Disclaiming.
Okay. Welcome to our podcast where we know nothing and the rules don't matter.
The points are made up and the rules don't matter.
We are talking about perfume. Again, like there's going to be a lot of talk about, different scents and like you're applying these things to your skin. So like everybody take that with a grain of salt. If you have sensitive skin, maybe look up the ingredients first. Let's everybody be smart adults about the things we're about to talk about. And don't do anything we tell you to do. Take it seriously. Don't do that. No, we don't do that. That was like the worst way to say it.
Such a weird way to say that.
Sorry.
Would you like to try again?
No, my brain went faster than my mouth, and I apologize for that.
You kind of short-circuited for a minute.
Don't take anything we say seriously.
Yes.
Especially when we're talking about things that you put on your body.
I love that. That was perfect.
I'm so sorry.
Nice try, Nat.
We are struggling this afternoon.
That was really funny. That's totally acceptable. And now, as usual, I'm going to take us over to our beautiful, gorgeous, lovely PowerPoint.
Yes.
Which hopefully I gave us enough space for because there's a lot of content in this. Unfortunately, it reminds me a little bit of the tea episode because I just felt like there was such a big history behind it and I didn't realize how much history was behind it until I started researching it. So anyway, I'll give you a rundown of what we're looking at today. So,
okay.
Good news as always. We'll have our good news. We will also have a very smelly history. There's literally 2 slides for volume matters, and you'll understand what that means when we get there. And
Size matters.
You see where I got that from?
Who said that?
I have no idea. I say it all the time jokingly. But The end is going to be What's That Smell? Where not only will we go over some of the highest, most expensive rated perfumes and fragrances on the market right now for 2024, but Blair and I will also show you any that we like or, that we use regularly,
Yes.
or in my case, that my husband used regularly because that's how we do. Anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing today.
Okay, great.
And without further ado, we're going to do our good news segment. Blah, blah,
All
blah,
right.
blah, blah.
So we're going to be talking about new sustainable home fragrance. Very exciting. We love.
We love Puma.
Okay. Do we need to handle what's happening over there?
Do what you need to do. I'm going to stare at her
Okay.
for a few minutes and see if she'll jump up.
All right. Okay. So, unveiled at the In Cosmetics Global Trade Show in Paris, the patent-pending Scent Bloom Duo technology promises an efficient, safe, and eco-friendly diffusion of home fragrances. The ready-to-use solution that combines bio-based and 100% biodegradable sticks with 100% biodegradable liquid blend. That's exciting. According to Cosmo International Fragrances, the Scent Bloom Duo technology boosts product performance, increases long lastingness, and offers stable colored products while reaching the same fragrance intensity as an ethanol based product. It's very exciting.
It is very exciting. Sorry. There you go.
You're fine. You're good. In today's air care market, consumers are increasingly seeking transparency, favoring products with natural, safer ingredients with shorter composition lists. There is a growing demand for products that have reduced environmental impact and are free from potentially harmful chemicals, especially people who have cats, because we know their noses be sensitive.
Truth.
For air care users, safety and eco-friendly products combined with long-lasting performances are paramount, says Thomas Delmas, Director of Technology Division at Cosmo International Fragrances. Slide.
Slide. I used to hate that when I was in school. Because I always felt bad when I was like, slide! Just because they didn't have the little clicky things yet.
Right. I know. Quote, our already existing Scent Bloom biodegradable liquid blend technology formulated to reduce or even eliminate pictograms meets stringent safety standards while maintaining efficacy. Excuse me. By mixing our Scent Bloom expertise with our innovative sticks, we obtained Scent Bloom Duo, an exclusive and full green solution for reed diffusers. In addition, our technology fits all markets and complies with strict regulations, particularly Prop 65 in the United States, explains Fiona Guas, technology marketing manager at Cosmo International Fragrances.
Indeed.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
exciting.
I mean, I used to have one of those stick diffusers because I got it as a present. Number one, they're very potent. So if you want to get a smell, they're very aggressive. But number two, it's like, what do you do with it afterwards? So I totally get that.
Yeah.
Because I threw mine away. It's like, well, I don't know what else to do with it. It tasted like apple cinnamon. I didn't like it very much anyway.
It tasted like apple cinnamon?
Did I say tasted?
You did.
It's kind of the same thing.
Similar, but different.
Anyway. Thanks for the good news, Blair.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
We're now going to move on to our smelly history. As if the smell of those sticks wasn't enough, there's also going to be a lot of smelly smells. The kind of smelly smells that smell...
Smelly.
Very. And that's because, again, people don't bathe, and we're going to get into that. So there's more of a history of people not bathing than there is.
I love it when people don't bathe.
I love it when they smell terrible. Like a lot of wonderful things that we have today, a lot of this kind of had its roots over in Egypt, which is super fun. So there are actually hieroglyphs in the Egyptian tombs that show ancient Egyptians and Mesopotamians making perfume, allegedly, as long as 3000 BC. The first Perfumers. Starting off strong. The first perfumers, Egyptian priests, used aromatic resins to sweeten the smell of sacrificial offerings, which also makes sense because it's usually a dead body. People believed that burning incense connected humans with the gods and pleased the deities, so what better use of smells than to do those things?
Mm-hmm.
And then Egyptian priests and their pharaohs were entombed with the fragrances, again, dead bodies, that makes sense. And when those tombs were opened by archaeologists in 1897, the perfumes were discovered to have retained their original sweet smells, which I thought was just mind-blowing, honestly.
Okay. All
That's
right.
kind of crazy. Like, the
That's
lasting
amazing.
power.
Right.
Important figures in Egyptian history were, of course, buried with these scented oils to ensure their olfactory needs were fulfilled in the afterlife. And popular scents of the time included jasmine, specifically handpicked in the morning, frankincense resin, which were gathered from the boswellia shrub, Nile lotus, myrrh, Madonna lilies, and honey. So,
Interesting.
yeah, I would say jasmine and honey and lily, I guess, technically, are still kind of popular scents today.
Mm-hmm.
Just different versions, probably.
Yeah.
There was also something called kaifi incense, and this was burned to please and appease the gods as they began their journey to the underworld and to ensure the safe return of the sun god Ra the next morning. And the ingredients that were specific to this, there was mixed information. So some say that the exact recipe differed, which I could gather because it probably depended on what you had on hand. But each recipe featured, for the most part, these 16 ingredients: myrrh, sweet rush, cuprous grass, wine, honey, raisins, ew, I hate raisins, resin, and juniper pounded together. I don't like raisins.
Noted. Thank you very much.
I didn't
Let
even
me
know
write that down.
I know. I didn't even really think they had a smell either, so that's an interesting choice. But incense wasn't just reserved for spiritual rituals. The Egyptians enjoyed it in daily life as well and already kind of understood perfumes could help as a harmonious balance between body and soul. And this was what early aromatherapy was kind of getting its kicks from, which Blair actually did an episode on, and during our normal in our normal recorded episodes, I think we did something like that. It's called What's That Smell, ironically. Megalion specifically was a soothing balm for inflamed skin, burns, and stomach problems, and blended with cardamom and myrrh could be worn as a perfume. And I would say Thyracuse, but I'm not 100% on that pronunciation. This was blending myrrh, frankincense, cinnamon, balsam, sweet rush, and serpent skin to soothe anxiety, which I believe getting serpent skin would give you the anxiety you're trying to soothe.
Well, sometimes they like shed,
It's true. It's true.
So I feel like it's giving slay your enemies, queen, like that kind of to reduce your anxiety. You know what I mean?
You're probably right. It's pretty bold. And my favorite part of this picture in particular is they do have the snake like in the hieroglyph.
Yes.
Just chilling. They're like, we're going to put this guy in a bowl.
That's right.
Slay.
Right. Slay your enemies. Have you heard that TikTok audio where it's like,
I don't know.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
It's fine. It's along the same vein of like when I do one thing that my husband normally does and be like, and
yeah,
the audio is just like, I want to go to war. I want to.
I love
like,
that automatically.
Just like man,
be a
power.
man.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love if you would send that to me. Actually,
I will.
And then, like all the other things that we enjoy today that usually come from Greece and Rome, perfumes are actually no different. In Greece, perfume was already a central worshipping and pleasing of the gods and goddesses kind of thing, which is very in line with what Egypt was doing, in fairness. And the Greeks also believed that anything as wondrous must actually have come from the gods, And vast quantities of perfumes were used in these religious ceremonies, and those too poor to afford fragrances for funerals would simply paint perfume bottles onto the coffin, symbolizing how influential these wonderful smells were to the culture.
Hmm.
There was actually an entire book called Concerning Odors, which I thought was very funny. It reminds me of Ominous Wind that my
Yes.
mom and I joke about a lot. But it was written by Phrastus, I apologize, who was considered the father of botany in Greece and was dedicated to fragrance, with the pages documenting spikenard, iris, cistus, rose, mint, myrtle, hyacinth, cinnamon, and narcissus, among other perfume ingredients. And I did not know that narcissus was a smell, and she is from Harry Potter, I believe.
Let me look it. I want to
Narcissa?
know what it smells like. Let me
Yeah.
look it up
Yeah,
while you
please. That would be great.
keep talking. Let me see.
The Greeks then also played a crucial role in the overall development of perfumery. There was no content with burning fragrant ingredients. They would ground the aromatic plants and resins and suspend them in oil. And that would create the first perfume for wearing on the skin, because it allowed a liquid form instead of a powdered form that you could dot across your neck, your bust, your arms, wherever you decided you wanted to smell nice. And additionally, which is great, the rise in interest in hygiene would also help boost fragrance, and it was catching on in Greece, thank God.
Okay.
Yeah. What you got?
So Narcissus was a hunter from Greek mythology
Mm-hmm.
and also known for his beauty noticed by all genders.
Cute.
But there's also a narcissus flower.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And that I think, and it looks kind of like a daffodil, sort of.
Oh,
But that's where we get the smell from, I'm assuming.
nice.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what Narcissa Malfoy was based on. Somehow.
Probably the Greek mythology hunter, because
Mhm.
like J.K. Rowling got a lot of her names and I think inspiration from Greek mythology.
I like that. Additionally, in Greece, Hippocrates, who was, of course, the father of medicine, was also big on hygiene and would end up prescribing fumigation and the use of perfumes to help prevent disease. Essentially, he was saying, please go take a bath. The Greeks embraced aromatherapy, making it practical and scientific instead of kind of this mystical thing. And both men and women were completely obsessed with what was considered the cult of the body. So women were at dressing tables in their private quarters applying this oil aromatic kind of concoction, and men very public about it. They would anoint themselves in public baths or after exercise, which I think still makes sense. But I feel like the equivalent to modern day was when after you would get back from PE, the guys would go in and like hose themselves down in Axe body spray. I feel like that's essentially what that was.
It could also be like I was thinking more of like a status thing where
Oh,
like
sure.
after you get done with your bros at the gym, you like put on your Rolex and drive away in your fancy car, but instead you have like scented oils that smell very expensive.
I would agree. It's definitely a status indicator, because you have to think a lot of the spices and things and fragrances that they were using might not have been available to all price brackets.
Right. Right.
So this makes sense. And then, of course, Alexander the Great, who was known for all of his conquests, particularly in the East in this case, there was new spices and incenses that would end up becoming new ingredients per perfumes, and they were traded with China, India, Africa, Arabia. The spice trade was huge, and there's like a huge long history that's completely separate from perfumes. That's like a whole other podcast, really, that could be made about the spice trade. But anyway, that's another piece. There became more options. Unfortunately, there was also more animal-based options that would come up as well, and that included musk and ambergris. And ambergris comes from Wales, I believe.
Oh.
And it's that big ball of what looks like grease, but it's very like sought after, and if you find a ball of that grease and you just like pick it up, you're in a lot of money. But they were also used for the first time during this fragrance boom, and they were adding new, what was considered sensuous fragrances to their already pretty fragrant creations.
Oh,
And also at this time, it was no longer exclusive for the enjoyment of the gods, and they became introduced into daily life, worn by poets, athletes, Grecian women, pretty
sure.
much anybody. And what happens when you have a demand for something? Somebody tries to profit off of that. And so then perfume shops were beginning to open all over Athens.
Sure.
Because that's just what happens. Would you like to take over Rome?
Sure. Okay, so the Romes may not have the Romes.
I love the Romes. They're one of my favorite things.
The Romes.
I guess that's how we have to refer to them now. It's no longer the Romans. You're just
Oh
Romes.
my God. All right.
Oh, maybe we shouldn't have started early.
Here we go. Let me hold on. I need to take a sip of my Dr. Pepper before we
It's
do this.
fine.
All right. The Romans may not have invented perfumery, but they gave it its name, perfumum, through smoke.
Which
Because
makes sense, I guess.
typically people were burning these
Yeah.
things to get the aromas.
Yeah.
Okay. Through enduringly usually used in religious.
It's like when you don't know how to spell a word, so you like change the whole sentence to decide which words you can actually spell in the moment.
All right. So basically these were used in religious ritual.
Yes.
Perfume was also now being used to anoint the body. We've established this with the Greek people using that after they work out and stuff. Please enjoy the side of Jinx trying to distract me.
He's doing a great job.
He is. I think he's trying to get over to his bed.
Nice.
By the 1st century AD, Rome used about 2,800 tons of imported frankincense and 550 tons of myrrh a year. That is interesting.
That's a lot.
Public
me, sir.
baths were. Hey, honey.
Look at my fancy butthole.
Public baths were the big thing in ancient Rome. You're being very inappropriate right now.
Sir.
With the affluent classes devoted to body care, including balms, oils, and perfumes for skin, hair, and living spaces. Even public spaces might be scented. So that's pretty normal, like to what we have
Yeah.
now, actually.
Yeah.
Emperor Nero was so crazy about roses. He had silver pipes installed so that his dinner guests could be spritzed with rose water.
If somebody sprayed me in the face with rose water at dinner, I would be less than pleased.
That's nice. I bet Nero was kind of a crazy one, though, if I remember correctly from my studies. He was kind of a psycho one. Like, there were many Roman emperors who were crazy, but I think he was one of the craziest. According to legend, he once shelled out 100,000 euro for a waterfall of rose petals, which actually smothered one guest and killed him. Quite a way to go. Yep, he was the crazy one. I stand by that.
It's confirmed.
Moralists like Pliny the Elder condemned the excessive use of perfume, for which exquisite. Of course, there's always got to be
There's
one
always
guy
one.
who
Yeah.
like hates it.
Yep.
Okay. For which exquisite glass vessels were hand blown. Pliny would go to state that perfume served the purpose of the most superfluous of all forms of luxury, for pearls and jewels do nevertheless pass to the wearer's air, and clothes last for some time, but the ingredients lose their scent at once and die in the very hour that they are used.
I mean, he has a point.
He has a point, but that is not the point.
He has a point, but that's not the one.
Their highest recommendation is that when a woman passes by, her scent may attract the attention of even persons occupied with something else. All that money is paid for a pleasure enjoyed by someone else. For a person carrying a scent about himself does not smell it himself.
Which is
Okay,
not true.
first of all, I
Yeah.
don't really think Pliny the Elder and I would get along because if you're not trying to turn heads, what are you even doing?
Right. Right. I want the girl I pass by to be like, what scent are you wearing? Like,
Right.
that's what I want.
I think that's the ultimate form of compliment, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think although it is somewhat frivolous,
Sure.
um it's probably like there's this one anesthesiologist at work and she wears Chanel number 5 and I know that because every time she walks past I smell it
Mm-hmm.
and she smells fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I just
Wow.
want to be around you all the time. You
We'll actually
smell
talk about
lovely.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um so anyway, I feel like I disagree. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
But famously, Rome imploded on itself. The Roman Empire didn't just fall, it crashed hard into the ground and we and ate.
It sure did.
So did wearing perfume. Incense was still used in churches. Yes, that is I will never forget. We went to Easter Sunday service at
Mm-hmm.
the National Cathedral in DC one
Mm-hmm.
time, and I wore this like I was like 11, and I wore this like beautiful, like pastel yellow dress with like
So
and it
cute.
was that had like flowers on the top, and then there's like a ribbon in the middle, and then it had like what is the word, tulle, like yellow tulle,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it was just so cute. I obsessed with that dress still. But that's not the point of the story. When we were watching the service, there of course it's Catholic. And
Yes.
so these bishops were like swing my cat just barfed in the hallway.
Thanks, Jinx. Were we just talking about this earlier too? Good morning, Father. I just barfed on the carpet again. Say, have you looked outside recently?
Oh my god, he barfed again.
They always do it twice. It's
Always twice.
number 2 is the rule. Puma does it twice. Lynx unfortunately does it twice.
And Salem's all up in arms now.
Yeah, Salem's like, what's happening, bro?
He just hacked so loud. I'm sorry you guys couldn't hear it, but he just hacked
Oh
so
yeah,
loud.
I'm so sorry I missed out on that noise. As if I don't get it in my house enough.
But anyway, they were swinging the
Mm-hmm.
incense and you could like smell it and there was like smoke everywhere. It was very mystical. And there was like columns,
Yeah,
in the church and there's like gargoyles everywhere.
Go-
It was
go-
just like gothic. It's like gothic architecture, it was an experience. Let me tell you, highly recommend.
Speaking of the incense swinging, though, have you seen that
Mhm.
TikTok where like they're swinging it and somebody gets their head smacked and like, oh,
No!
I'll send you that one because that gets me
I
every
have to see it.
time.
Oh, that's amazing.
And
I
now
love
they
that.
put that like, they put that to a bunch of things where people hit their head, and it's so iconic and it's wonderful. It's probably so insulting, and I
need to see
apologize.
that.
But
That's amazing.
it's so funny.
I'm immediately obsessed with that. That's great.
I will find it and send it.
Okay, great. Okay, so anyway, the Roman Empire is no bueno. And incense was still used for churches, but the fragrant gardens were cultivated by monks, which was very nice of them. But in the Middle Ages, mere wafts of lavender, rosemary, clarion sage, and rose from cloistered gardens can't have done much to mask the stench of everyday life because in the Middle Ages, it was not great.
For
The
some
smell
reason-
was awful.
For some reason, Greece was like, we're into hygiene. And in the Middle Ages, they were like, nah, that's dumb.
No, we don't do that here. I think also there was a giant like class
Yeah.
divide,
There was.
because you had like the peasants and then the rich people and there wasn't really a whole lot of people in between.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, a huge divide.
Yeah.
But in fairness, all of these precursors kind of built up what we would know as the Renaissance of smell. Well, that's what this article called it. But it's basically where everyone around the world was like, oh my god, all of this stuff smells so good, and we could make this our own thing, and that's what happened. So in India, perfume was at the heart of sacred tantric ritual where men were anointed with sandalwood during their ceremonies and women adorned with oils of jasmine on the hands, patchouli on the neck and cheeks, amber on the breasts, spikenard in the hair, musk on the abdomen, and sandalwood on their thighs, saffron on the feet. And this is literally almost like you would consider chakra points almost, where it was very methodical and very specific and had a real background for why certain things were in certain places.
Yep.
And it created a fragrance pyramid for the body.
Weird but interesting story.
Yeah.
I was caring for a patient the other day and I was like helping her get dressed because she was a little wobbly, kind of on the
Sure.
older side.
Yeah.
And she happened to be of the Indian descent.
Ah.
And I picked up her shoes to like help her put them on. And she took them from me and she was like, "Young women do not touch the feet." And then she kissed my hand.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
That is so cute, actually.
I know.
That is so precious.
It was so I was kind of taken aback at first, but I was like, wow, that's nice.
You should have been like, slay.
No.
Women.
But I was like, oh, okay, no problem.
Supporting
And I
women.
handed her her shoes and that was it.
That's really precious. Oh, young women.
But she was
do
like,
not
thank you
touch
so
the
much for helping
feet.
me. I was like, you're welcome.
Oh, I'm gonna meet this lady now.
She was cute.
That is
We like
very
her.
cute.
Hmm. She
Chi-
also smelled really good.
oh,
Not
of
to
course.
be,
No,
yeah,
that makes perfect sense to me.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, I also love the smell of curry. I just can't eat curry. It's the crappy part.
Yeah.
That is also
Mhm.
a very, when I think of like fragrance, particularly when food is around, I think of like curry. I'm like, man, it smells so good. Then I just have weird dreams all night, which is kind of a bummer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tastes good though. China would infuse their surroundings with fragrance, similar to what the Romans would do. And from the ink they wrote with, actually, stationery, and even the temples that they worshipped in. So they literally took that as everything will have a smell, which to me would be a little overwhelming, maybe, you know? Japan would focus on maintaining the burning of fragrances more so and creating an incense ceremony called kodo, which was said to ward off bad luck. So it wasn't like they were going around with all these really harsh smells, which I think kind of fits with Japan, to be honest.
I don't really know. I do feel like it gives sage vibes though,
Right,
which I
exactly.
like.
And then in the Arab culture, they came up with clever ways to actually capture fragrances. And of course, like many other places, it pertained mostly to religious ceremonies, but there were trade links that were maintained between India and China, and scientists would actually work on new techniques of distillation to capture the ephemeral scent. And these new materials, including the first tin plated copper still, which was less fragile than glass, obviously, and also a cooling worm, which I like, which had the pipe and chamber which the distillation was transferred to. And so this was kind of the first wave of trying to, instead of only having the source, like the physical source of a smell, having to be present, they were able to take that physical source and distill the scent from it, like extract it, distill it, and make it concentrated. And that's good for the future of scents and sense sciences.
Yes.
In Italy, they perfected the art of making perfume as we would essentially think about it almost today. They, in Modena, after a breakthrough involving cooling of the tubes which carried vapors from that distillation pot, they actually managed a scented alcohol close to 95% proof, which is crazy. And this clear liquid was known as aqua mirabilis, or marvelous water, or aqua vita, water of life. And by the tail end of the 14th century, liquid perfumes had replaced the solid ones completely in Italy. However, they were also drunk, which I feel like that's alcohol. Like you're drinking scented alcohol is what you're doing. So
Well, yeah, but
have a
like,
good time.
yeah. So I guess like the alcohol part of the perfume is
Yeah.
what we still associate perfume with, because that's why it
Yeah.
smells for so long is because it
Correct.
has the alcohol in it, but you can't drink it. It's yucky.
I mean, they did.
Oh,
I guess they were having a blast.
interesting.
I wonder if their breath smelled good.
Mm.
Am I
An
getting a hint
interesting.
of patchouli?
No,
Yeah, gross.
I don't know. That seems odd.
It's a lot. And then in Hungary, there were perfumeries, also known as we know it today. Queen Elizabeth of Hungary was inspiring the first perfume, which was a fusion of the aromatics lavender and rosemary, and it literally became known as Queen of Hungary Water and was offered to her by a simple hermit as the elixir of youth. Um, Plot twist, she's definitely dead, but that's neither
It
here nor
didn't
there.
work.
It didn't work.
Just so you guys know.
But perfumes are a thing, so thanks.
Hmm.
And then, of course, finally, in terms of the renaissance of smells, France, which I think a lot of people associate with perfume. I don't know. I kind of do.
Hmm.
But the epicenter of perfumery would move from Italy to France thanks to Queen Catherine de' Medici. And until then, French people would enjoy the scent world mostly from like scented sachets or molded clay bottles. But Catherine was like, nah, nah, nah. I've got these Tuscany scented gloves, so leather, and perfume to mask the unpleasant smell of leather because it would eventually, it's animal hide, right? And we
Hmm.
didn't have a lot of techniques to maintain that back then. And so you would perfume the gloves so that your hands and the gloves didn't smell like butts. And at the same time, she had a personal perfumer in Paris that was like, I have an idea about your stinky perfume gloves. And essentially made the link between leather and perfume, which set off yet another, like the animal sense, right? It set off another scent revolution. And then it
Sure.
became like those burning, leathery, kind of woodsy smells that escalated. And I think a lot of men's scents, or typically men's scents, kind of smell in that way now. So that's what happened in like 1656-ish with the Corporation of Glove Makers and Perfumers. They were one shop in France at that time. And then we move on to Louis XIV, who was nicknamed the sweetest smelling king of all, ironically, because he never showered.
That's a diss to King Charles. I don't know if you know that.
It
It
should
is.
be. It should
It
be.
is.
Yeah. Anyway, you can have Stinky King number 14 if you'd like.
Side note, did you see that? Why is my microphone being this way? Um,
Hi, Pukey boy.
uh, Sir barfs a lot over here. Um, did you see? I know you cannot kiss me with your barfy mouth.
Ew.
Um,
Gross.
let's see. So, did you see the portrait of King Charles that came out that was like bright red in the background?
No. Yes.
No. Yes.
Yes. They
I ju-
unveiled it with the.
yes.
Yeah.
What did you think? Not
I
that our opinion matters at all, but
I didn't know what to make of it. I was like, is it not finished? Like, because, all right,
yeah.
let me defend myself on that because
Okay.
I've seen the artists who do like a wash of a color and then they'll like go over it with like the actual hues, and like the wash of the color helps like bring forward the strokes and like the patterns and stuff that they're trying to get.
Mm-hmm.
So initially, I was like, I mean, I'm not an artist, and that's
All right.
it's okay. That seems like a pretty aggressive wash, and then joke's on me, it's finished.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It looked
I also
aggressive.
thought it was interesting. Because like this portrait that we have on our slide right now,
Yes.
it looks pretty regular,
It looks
you
good.
know?
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was interesting. I don't know. I
If
thought the red was just very aggressive, you
I
know?
thought it was, yeah, honestly, it was like blood red. That's kind of
Right.
weird, right?
And then I saw some girl like break it down
Yeah.
on TikTok,
Yeah.
and she was saying that he has like a butterfly landing on his shoulder,
Sure.
which is supposed to be like more like paint you in more, no pun intended, paint you in more of like a soft light, you know, like you
Meanwhile, the
are.
light around you is beat red.
Meanwhile, everything is red. Like, so
Right.
it doesn't, it's like very juxtaposed in that way. It's very weird.
I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
that the time to be artistic is not with a self portrait of a king.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And apparently the guy, I guess, who did it had also done other ones for the monarchy before, but it wasn't like this.
I know that
So
they're
I
not a
don't
fan
know.
of the current ruling party, and that's great, but I feel like why could they not just do a normal portrait of him? It didn't need to be artistic.
Yeah, or maybe I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Maybe they requested, maybe he wanted it
Maybe,
like that. You never
maybe.
know.
I mean,
Yeah.
what? I don't know.
It just seems very aggressive.
Very aggressive, very,
Hmm.
all in your face.
Yeah.
But I don't live there, so what do I know? I guess.
True.
Mm.
Okay. Um yeah, where are we at now? I
Oh,
forget.
Stinky King.
What are we doing? Okay. All right. So, Louis the 14th was terrified of bathing. It's said that he has taken only 3 baths in his life.
uh,
One when he was born, one right in the middle, and one
one
when
when
he
he died.
died.
That's enough, probably.
I would say. The fear was shared by the nobility in the 17th century, as it was thought that um, water spread disease, which I get why they would
Sure.
think that, but their water was gross.
Yeah,
So
right.
that's why it was diseased. Anyway, um, Louis took the trend.
Sir.
Hi,
Bark
honey.
boy.
Hi.
He's so happy.
I know. He always is. He's like, Mom, guess what I did in the hall?
You'll never guess what I
You'll
yacked.
never guess. Meanwhile I can see it like from the from where I'm sitting.
Also, you could hear it plain as
I
day.
also I thought I'm glad Salem didn't Salem left and I thought he was gonna like go eat it or
That's
something
what
and I was
Lynx does. It's so
uh
disgusting.
so
Why?
gross.
We have since turned him off from it somehow, but he does still eat the flies in the house.
Ew.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway. Um
Cats.
so the rest of the court didn't like to bathe either because they thought water caused disease. Louis took the trend for perfumery to new heights by commissioning his perfumer to create a new scent for each day of the week. He insisted it's like crumble cookie.
Yeah, basically.
um, he he insisted on having his shirts perfumed with something called aqua and jelly, which sounds like Axe, but 17th century vibes.
Absolutely.
Composed of aloe wood, nutmeg, storax, cloves, and benzoin, boiled in rose water of a quantity as may cover 4 fingers.
It's
So like
just
a
smelly.
bottle. Yeah. It was simmered for a day and night before jasmine and orange flower water, and a few grains of musk were added. Like some kind of early fabric conditioner, it was used to rinse Louis's shirts. The king also arranged for a pavilion in blue and white to be built at Versailles for lovemaking, so that between uh, those moments he could fill his lungs with the scent of stocks, tuberose, and white jasmine.
I
The
love the
comp.
smell of
Oh
lovemaking.
God, I feel bad for those poor women.
Gross, Louis.
Um, the competition to supply the perfumed court with scented goods was seriously ferocious. Perfumers began to sell their wares more widely through perfumed peddlers. Then the revolution happened, which was turbulent, but they had a new champion, Napoleon Bonaparte, notorious short king,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
who had a standing order with his perfumer for 50 bottles of cologne a month.
Insane.
Insane. Um so Napoleon really likes perfume during the revolution. Um he loved its cooling qualities after washing and would drench his shoulders and neck with it. He particularly loved the scent of rosemary, which is a key ingredient in Eau de Cologne, because it flourished along the cliffs of the rocky scrubland in Corsica, where he was born. A quarterly bill for 1860 shows Chardin.
1806.
Or sorry, yeah. What did I say?
1860, but it's basically the same.
I had a dyslexic moment and I apologize.
That's fair.
Shows Chardin supplied 162 bottles of Eau de Cologne costing 423 francs. Famously, Napoleon also liked the scent of his wife, au naturel. Gross.
Sweaty pits.
I'm sorry, I don't smell good, au naturel, so I'm
I don't
assuming
either.
she probably didn't. He dispatched the legendary commandment, "Don't bathe," when returning from battle to their home, and also picked up steep bills for his wife's perfumes. So basically, he was like, "Shouty, I'm coming home.
Don't
do,
bathe.
do not bathe.
I want to smell you.
Go
naturally.
run around in the garden.
Go
and
frolic
don't
in the woods."
bathe.
Oh, it's so gross.
Yikes.
I can't. Yeah, yikes is an understatement. And similarly, the Victorians would also kind of jump on the aromatic bandwagon. So it just continued its popularity. The thing is, like most things, when there's conflicts and unrest, it does like this, up and down, up and down. But that's like just with the economy and availability. And if you're having conflict with somebody that's supplying you something, obviously they're like, nah, we ain't giving you that. And it's like a whole thing. But anyway, there was one person, as usual, as we saw previously, that was not amused by these smelly antics, and that was Queen Victoria, who said that the use of these over lavish fragrances was ridiculous and also too sexy, allegedly. She instead associated the fragrances along with cosmetics and the wearing of makeup to be associated specifically with fallen women, prostitutes, or those of questionable morals. And most fragrances in the early to mid-Victorian times were delicate and floral, actually, which I find kind of funny and juxtaposed by fallen women comment. Thanks, Victoria. And they were also understatedly feminine, and they would have like particular flowers in mind, like jasmine, lavender, roses, honeysuckle, the basics. And more aromatic herbs would be used sometimes, such as marjoram, thyme, rosemary, and spices, like cloves.
Okay, hold on. Pause really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So Queen Victoria is the one that ushered in the Victorian era, and it's where women were worn like from neck to ankles.
Yes.
That was the style.
Despite this photo here.
Also, I would like to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. She had 9 children.
Wow.
So even though she was very conservative in her views,
sexy.
she did have 9 children, and a lot of them went on to do things that were controversial at best.
We're not going to talk about how babies were born, but I can tell you that was also probably too sexy for her. Sorry. Don't mean to talk poorly about the dead. But
not wrong.
Ironically, though, Victoria ended up being a devotee of the British perfume house Creed, not the band Creed.
Not the band.
Perfume house.
90s rock and roll band.
It's not them. They were not there. But they actually presented Victoria with a surprisingly heady scent, despite everything that she said and all the things that she stood on. And in 1845, they called it Fleur de Bulgarie, and she ended up wearing that throughout her illustrious reign. And it was a mixture of Bulgarian rose, musk, ambergris, and bergamot. And in 1885, Victoria granted Creed, not the band, a royal warrant and public acknowledgement of her patronage. So all of that to say, she changed her mind.
She did.
Maybe
it was after the 9th kid.
She was like, screw it, I need to smell nice. Modern perfumery, as we know it, actually has its roots in this Victorian era. And new synthetics were essentially the catalyst for all of this. They were more reliable. They had stable scents. And they would also enable the perfumer to capture the smell of a flower, which was originally potentially elusive getting it from the source, because the source is small. You may have to have a large quantity, and that's not always possible.
Right.
And so these synthetic scents made it possible to extract and replicate and create these concoctions that kind of meld together easily, more cost effectively, and would last longer on the skin, which when you see how much some of these perfumes cost later, you'll understand why that's very important.
Yep.
There was a chemist called Dumas Pelago, and he isolated a molecule called cinnamaldehyde from cinnamon oil, obviously. And in 1844, there was a man called Coors who found the main aroma compound in anise oil, which was anethol. Bitter almonds, benzaldehyde, and heliotropin, the scent of hyacinths, were added to the perfumer's arsenal along with vanillin, which is obviously vanilla.
And for those of you who are wondering what Kirsten is saying, she is saying oil.
Shut up! Whatever.
Just in case you were thrown by her southern accent.
Every time I say that word, I think of you. And I don't
Every
say
time
it often.
you say that word, I try not to giggle.
Feel free, it's fine. There's all my grandpa's not here to defend himself, so I'm just gonna say it anyway. The one thing that gets me all the time is washer, like washer and dryer.
Yeah.
Did you put that in the washer? I love it so much.
It's so good.
Anyway, there's a British chemist also called William Perkin who came up with coumarin. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And described it as a scent that could transport you to the holiday in the Alps. Essentially, it was like just mown hay is the equivalent. So for us, it's just like, tree smell, but hay. And in 1888, chemist Alfred Bauer discovered the artificial musks, thank God for the animals. And in 1895, the first synthetic jasmine and rose were introduced, and the appeal of this faux rose being that it would not become cloudy in the cold or separate into flakes, could be relied upon to always be exactly of the same composition, which again is very important because of the consistency. And if you're using raw materials, and let's say you have a bottle of roses crushed up in oil somewhere and you set it out in the sun, you're probably going to end up with a mold problem eventually. So there was also like potentially a health risk with just using fully natural scents and objects to make,
Similar to when you try to make your own wine just by like
Correct.
setting grapes out, which
that
is
doesn't
not
work.
It doesn't work.
So if you're trying to do that, don't.
Don't do it.
Would you like to take Chanel?
I would love to take Chanel. In 1921, a very clever designer and businesswoman who was also a Nazi sympathizer, just in case you guys cared, created a scent that revolutionized the way women smell. Getting on for 100 years later, Chanel No. 5 is the world's #1 most iconic fragrance. And it truly, like, it's amazing. It smells really
is,
good.
yeah.
Nazi lady or not, it smells very good.
She made something nice.
Chanel was truly modern, traversing the boundaries between lady and mistress. As one commenter put it, she had plenty of racy friends, but counted many aristocrats among her circle, including the Duke of Westminster, as a lover. She first set up a millinery shop, but in 1921 had a string of successful boutiques in Paris, Deauville, and Biarritz. Chanel wanted to launch a scent for the new modern woman she embodied. She loved the scent of soap and freshly scrubbed skin. Chanel's mother was a laundrywoman and a market stall holder, though when she died, the young Gabrielle was sent to live with her Cistercian
nuns?
Sent to live with nuns from Abazine. When it came to creating her signature scent, though, freshness was all important. She decided that a Grasse-based perfumer called Ernest Beau was the man for the task. Chanel was vacationing with her lava, the Grand Duke of Dmitry Pavlovich.
Honestly, that's what I do on the weekends too.
Same.
Yeah.
When she heard of a Gross-based perfumer called Ernest Beau, I think Beau, that's right,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
Bo. Yeah, yeah,
who'd been the perfumer darling of the Russian royal family.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Over several, again, sus, over great clothes, very sus morals, okay? Over several months, he produced a series of 10 samples to show to Mademoiselle. They were numbered 1 to 5 and 20 to 24. She picked number 5, and yes, the rest is history. Legend has it the fragrance itself was the result of a mistake by Beau's assistant, who used 10 times the quantity of aldehydes he was supposed to, which almost propelled the fragrance out of the bottle, creating a champagne like fizz for the nose.
Mm-hmm.
After the aldehyde rush came notes of precious jasmine, rose, vanilla, and sandalwood, but it also smelled abstract with no dominant note that perfume wearers could really make out. Every woman who passed stopped in their tracks and asked what the fragrance was and where it came from.
Which is pretty true, even today.
Yeah, I agree. It's iconic for sure.
It is iconic. Um, Also, it wasn't a phase, and in the 20s and 30s really came a lot of these classics, Chanel
Mm.
being one of them, in
Mhm.
fairness.
Mhm.
But there was also someone very famous named Jean Levine. I don't know how to say her first name, but Lanvin. She began as a milliner herself and a seamstress, and found her own millinery, that's such a hard word to say,
Mhm.
fashion house as Rue de Marche Saint Honoré, I guess. Gradually, the addresses of her shops became ritzier, and she ended up at House of Lanvin and landed at 22 Rue de Faubourg Saint Honoré. I don't know.
Mhm.
Apparently, that's also the address of her current flagship shop, and I don't know if it's there or not there as of 2024, but that's
We're
where she
looking
ended
it up
up.
right now.
Feel free. The Lanvin's daughter was actually her inspiration for one of her most famous fragrances named Arpège, and it was conceived for the 30th birthday of her daughter Marie Blanche and took its musical reference name from a comment Marie Blanche made on being shown the first sample created by perfumers Andre Fraise and Paul Vacher. The quote is that it smells like an arpeggio would. And if you aren't musical, you don't know what an arpeggio is necessarily, but arpege is Blair's gone. Blair. There she is.
Oh, the void is back too. Good.
Oh,
Okay.
great.
So it is still there.
Nice.
I'm just gonna look because I've never heard of this perfume before.
Yeah, I haven't either, but apparently she's quite famous. And then this is the bottle of the original arpege, I believe,
Yeah.
as well, which is kind of
Okay.
cool.
I wonder if it smells good.
I mean, maybe. All telling me that it smells like an arpeggio doesn't really tell me what its smell is. Do you smell like a piano? I do know what that smells like.
Yeah.
Also, while Blair's looking that up, there was another famous one, which I think modern people would also know. Guerlain Shalimar.
Mm-hmm.
The Champs-Élysées-based perfume house had continued the tradition of launching rich, sumptuous ombres with their fragrance from Jacques Guerlain, with lavishings of the newly popular synthetic vanillin. Guerlain loved to conjure up a love story with their perfumes and said it was inspired by Shalimar Gardens in Srinagar, part of which was laid out by the lovesick Emperor Shah Jahan, which we've actually talked about before and got corrected on, so I won't go into detail there, but basically they thought it was a love story too. It's not really, but that's what they said, and that's the long and short of it.
I would just like to say
Yeah.
that you can get a bottle of the Lanvin perfume
Ah,
at Nordstrom
ooh,
for $124.
that's actually not too bad.
No.
Well, how many milliliters is it?
It is, well, you have two sizes.
Okay.
The 3.3 ounce one is, I'm assuming, the more expensive one, the 124, and the 1.7 ounce is 98.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
perfume, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Also, I don't know why they have to go there, but Jacques Guerlain also found vanilla to be a powerful aphrodisiac for some reason. He'd used it in a perfume called Jicky, and this time he would fuse it with uplifting lemon and bergamot, night blooming flowers of heliotrope and jasmine, iris patchouli, and other famously velvety based notes that were including benzoin, ambergris, tonka bean, which sounds fun, incense, vetiver, sandalwood, and musk. That's a lot. And basically, Jacques passed that love on to his great-grandson, Jean-Paul Guerlain, who said, quote, "He taught me how to love vanilla as it adds something wonderfully erotic, I was going to be way more passive, to a perfume. It turned Charlemagne into an evening gown with an outrageously plunging neckline." I don't think vanilla's
Wow.
that deep. I do love the scent of vanilla. That's my
I
preferred scent.
You're right.
But I don't think it's that deep.
Speaking of vanilla,
Yeah.
what was your favorite Bath and Body Works scent back in the day?
I hated Bath and Body Works
Okay.
because it consistently broke me out.
Oh, okay.
So
So what was your
actually,
favorite body spray as a teenager?
I forget what it was called, but it was definitely a Victoria's Secret one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it had black in the name, but I cannot remember. And I have looked. I have no idea if they even still make it. I have never seen. Yeah, I have no idea what it was called. But it had like that. It was probably a pretty typical teenager, like, kind of candy smell, would be my guess. But that's really the only one as a teenager. What about you?
Hold on, let me see. So the one that is the black bottle perfume is called Tease.
It had black in the name. I actually have teas.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Because it's Tyler's favorite that I wear. I don't know. Like,
Do you know? Okay, never mind. We'll have to continue with this because I have thoughts.
okay.
But I will say warm vanilla sugar was
Yeah.
a good, like, that's why I asked, because
Yeah,
that was my
vanilla was the
favorite
thing.
Bath and Body Works one.
Yeah.
Because it was vanilla.
Trust me, I wanted to love it. And everybody was on that Sakura Blossom one. I did not like that.
The cherry blossom?
Yeah.
Japanese cherry blossom. It was
Yeah,
okay.
I did
It was
not
really
like it.
strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so much in your face, and I was like, this can't be what trees smell like.
Yeah, it's not my favorite of
No.
theirs. I could tolerate it but it wasn't like,
No,
it seemed like it was a lot, you
it
know?
was a lot. But every girl in my high school loved it.
Yeah. It was very much the Victoria's Secret love spell.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I never owned that, but that was
Yeah.
the vibe.
Also, the vibe, apparently, when we were growing up and back in the 50s, were bath oils. I never used them. I don't know.
Neither did I.
But Estee Lauder, which is still a very big brand,
Mm-hmm.
Originally, so the whole stance, right, apparently, up until this point, was that nice things were reserved for nice times, right? So that included, like, you wouldn't wear your nice jewelry on an everyday. You would save that for a holiday. Or you wouldn't wear your nice dress for anything other than a special gathering. However, the same was also thought of in fragrances, but there was one movement by Estee Lauder, which is actually the name, her name, and she was like, no. These fragrances, these things that we're making, like even the most simplest things in life, they should be enjoyed every day that you want to enjoy them. And it's ridiculous that we're reserving these things for such special occasions when we could literally enjoy them together all the time.
A true American.
A true American, yes. A New Yorker. And so she actually had her first fragrance, I will put in quotations, because it was actually a bath oil, and she named it Youth Dew. and it was essentially a game changer. Lauder is also noted to say, back then, meaning before the 50s, a woman waited for her husband to give her perfume on her birthday or anniversary.
Right.
No woman purchased fragrance for herself, so I decided I wouldn't call my new launch perfume, I'd call it Youth Dew, a bath oil that doubled as a skin perfume to buy because it was feminine, all American, very girl next door to take baths. So she was also in the hygiene field. Uh,
Mm.
a woman could buy a bath oil for herself without feeling guilty or giving hints to her husband, essentially. And Lauder said that a woman feels free to dole out some of her own dollars for cents was essentially her movement here, empowering women to put the youth dew on whenever she wanted. You know what I'm
Great.
saying? Right.
Yeah.
That's essentially, it was very powerful at the time.
Hmm. I like. Okay.
I've never smelled youth dew. I don't know if they still sell it, but if they do, let us know. Anyway, this is these are kind of the ones. There's like silly shapes and stuff too that they all come in, but I just put this picture in here because I thought it was funny with the little bathtub. Designers continue to make their mark in perfumery, such as the boy wonder Yves Saint Laurent, who unveiled his Y in 1964, and Rive Gauche in 1968. And then came miniskirts, the Beatles, pop music, the pill, parents everywhere laying awake night worrying about their daughter's virtue in swinging London and beyond and all those crazy things. And so there
Okay.
was...
Hold on. Sorry. 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can buy Estee Lauder Youth Dew 60th Anniversary
Oh,
Edition for $25.90 on Amazon.
that's very cute.
Yeah.
What does it say its notes are? Or does
Great
it?
question. Hold on. Let me see. I might have to go into the reviews for this. Give me 1 moment.
Ah. But this shake, this youth quake, if you will, kind of launched with the fashion changes that were happening during this time period. So we're talking like after the 60s, we're now into the 70s and 80s. There was a fashion brand named Mary Quant, which launched also a range of fragrances, including the aptly named Havoc, which traveling back and forth between Grasse and London for a couple of years, and girls who didn't wear Mary Quant might be borrowing their boyfriend's Eau Sauvage from Dior. And so then you have all of these big named fashion beauty brands coming out with their own fragrances, and they do that today, very much so. And it became not just a scent to wear and enjoy, but also kind of a status symbol as well, I would say.
Okay. Are you ready?
I am.
So, Youth Dew, the top notes are often fresh, minty, aquatic, and airy. Middle notes are like floral, fruity. All right, no, is this just a general description?
Same.
Jeez, I don't know. Hold
It's
on.
okay.
Why? It's like, you know how
Yeah.
you go on Amazon and it's like this long, you have to
Yeah.
scroll forever to like find any information on anything.
Yeah. Thanks, Amazon, for making
Anyway,
that not easy.
you guys can look that up, I think, if you need to.
Agreed. You okay?
Yeah. I was just like, Rhonda from the United States says that it's an old lady perfume. And
Damn.
it's a wonderful scent, lingering and long lasting. It's
Well,
more of a
that's
winter
nice.
perfume, in her opinion.
What makes a winter perfume?
I don't know.
I wear mine all year.
Heather says it smells wonderful and the bottle is cute.
Thanks, Heather.
Uh,
Sorry for calling all you people out.
Oh.
Oh.
Someone from the United Kingdom says, I smell like we.
Youth do. That's great.
And then there's a French review that in French, so I can't read it. So,
I mean, you
anyway,
can. It just would make zero sense to any of us.
That's correct. So yeah, there you go, guys.
Thanks.
That's it.
Super
That's my contribution.
Thanks, Rhonda.
Ron.
Well,
so good.
that's brilliant. All right. So that's all the history. there isn't much radically being done in the, from what I can tell, in the fragrance department after that time period. So really it just kind of comes down to preference and all of these name brands and like affordable versus type. And type really comes into it, which is why we have this segment called Volume Matters, because I've always wondered what the difference is between like perfume, cologne, eau de parfum, all this other stuff that you see labeled. And it actually comes down to the percentage that it contains of the fragrance itself, which is
Nice.
interesting. And so, for example, perfume or parfum, OG, if it says perfume and nothing else, you're getting about 20 to 30% of the fragrance, which means it lasts significantly longer on the skin because there's more to hold on to. There's also Eau de Parfum, 15 to 20%. Toilette is 5 to 15. Cologne is only 2 to 14. And Eau Fraiche is just like a mist, essentially, and it's 1 to 3% and will last you less than 2 hours of fragrance. So to me, that's kind of the equivalent of the body sprays that you get at Victoria's Secret or Bath and Body Works. You're spritzing that on, you're smelling it, and then you'll probably never smell it again.
Well, and it makes sense why the perfume versions are always more expensive.
Right, because they're significantly more involved. And I did break it down a little bit here. So with that 20% of oil concentration, you're likely to still notice your fragrance working throughout the day. They have that highest concentration lasting the longest, which is that 6 to 8 hour range, but also they're in the highest price range for Blair's Point. It's a lot of money to put all those fragrances together at that volume, at that like bottle size, because you can choose the milliliters, but that percentage needs to stay the same regardless. However, if you have sensitive skin, you might actually prefer the parfums, because the other ingredient to all of these is alcohol. So the more alcohol you have, the drier your skin is going to be. You might have flaking, maybe it activates your eczema. It does for me, depending on what it is. So just kind of keep that in mind. Because you have more fragrance, you have less alcohol, you might be able to wear it a little more manageably. Mm-hmm. Eau de Parfum is that 15 to 20%. You can have at least 4 to 5 hours of fragrance, no issue. And it's kind of reliable and less expensive, so it's a good middle ground if you want that long-lasting power, but you don't have that much money to spend. Eau de Toilette, 5 to 15%. I mean, you can wear it on a daily basis. You can bring it with you. It's kind of travel friendly, but you only get about 2 to 3 hours. So, yeah, that's all you get. Mm-hmm. A cologne, even less than that. They mostly come in these bigger bottles, but realistically, there's not a lot going on other than the alcohol content, and therefore it's significantly cheaper. Because there's not a lot to it. And then there's definitely nothing to the Eau Fraiche. And, but on the other hand, instead of alcohol, in this case, it is mostly water, which is the other sad part. So you're paying that money for water.
Yeah.
And now, I literally said 2 slides on that because that's really all you need to know. And now, with that, let's go over the top fragrances, shall we? I'm not going to go over all of them, but
okay.
This is just a slide. There's like a handful of slides here. It's the top 24. There was significantly more in this article, so I just did as many that I felt made sense. And they are of fluctuating brands, price ranges. I didn't put the milliliters on here because they didn't list them necessarily. Mm-hmm. But you can see how they're labeled and essentially the price equivalent, right? So for example, all of these that you see, except for the top one that says perfume oil, they're all Eau de Parfum. So all of those are in that middle range, essentially. They're not full perfume, so you're not going to get that 8-hour last, but you will get about half the day.
Yeah. Well, and it looks like too that like some of these you're paying for like the brand name.
Absolutely.
As well.
Like Gucci is $384, but for an Eau de Parfum from Loewe, it's $120. So, you know.
Is it Loewe or low?
I don't know.
Okay. I
Which,
mean, I'm down with
yeah, I don't know.
whatever, but yeah.
Um, it's funny to me. I assume Tom Ford and Dior are kind of like the mid-range luxury brands because they're not as expensive as Gucci is. But I mean, they still stack up. You're still paying close to $100 to $200 for it. I actually don't mind Tom Ford's. I just haven't found one that I'm really in love with yet.
Mm.
Yeah. And I don't. Miss Dior is one of the most popular next to like Daisy from what is that, Marc
Marc
Jacobs.
Jacobs. Hmm.
So you've probably heard. Some people might know the Dior line. Then there's this astronomically ridiculous Louis Vuitton perfume Atlas fragrance set, which look how small the bottles are. You get a lot, sure, but $5,000. That's definitely just the brand name. But it's just a sampling size apparently, and this literally made the list. So people are buying this and like, yes, we love this. We want more of this.
Hmm.
So I included it on. Can you hear him watching that?
No.
I just heard the weirdest rumble. Anyway, then you have Cartier. You have a cologne from Joe Malone in London.
Which I heard is really good. I've
also
heard good things
it's
about
good.
that one. Yeah.
Yes. Dolce & Gabbana, of course. Mugler Alien. I have to say, the Alien line from these guys is so cool. They have the coolest bottles, and if you go, I think they have them in Ulta, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they've had star shapes. They have like crystal looking bottles with their own little like stand because they're funky bottles. They don't just stand up on their own.
Yeah.
But they're very cool and they do actually have really good scents. So if you want an Eau de Parfum in this price range, they have a really good variety. And then of course Valentino, which I didn't know they made a green one, and I'm kind of happy they have a different color. I don't feel like you see a lot of green perfumes. Uh, the Jean Paul one made me laugh because those are legs, and they have a whole
Are
bunch
those legs?
yes, they have a whole
That's
bottle
amazing.
line of just leggy ladies.
I love that.
And it's Scandal, which I think is a fitting name. But actually, the most expensive one on this page is the Hermes, and that's $371, which makes sense because again, you got the name. And then I don't know how you say Dibbity Doodah on number 18, but that one's $230 and it's got a really pretty bottle. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Diptyque.
sure, I believe you.
Cool.
And then this is the last little lineup, just so you can get an idea of like the ranges. The thing is, almost all of these are Eau de Parfum, so you really are getting almost the top tier for your price. Which, again, like we said, you're paying for that longevity. You have more of the fragrance in there. You're going to have the more robust smell. So to me, in a way, it makes sense when you think about the smells and things. I don't know how much of it's natural. I don't know how much of it's synthetic. Maybe if you did the run-up, it wouldn't make a lot of sense because synthetic, you would think, is a little more cheap. But it really just comes down to the individual, the name, what it's made of, etc. And so now it's how do we smell? And I don't mean that literally. This isn't smell-o-vision, but I did think it would be fun if we kind of went through what we have, what we like, what we don't like, those kinds of things, and kind of wrap up that way.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
feel free to show me what you got.
Okay. So first, I would just like to preface by saying that I am not. I aspire to be a perfume girly. I aspire to like build a collection
You've seen
of
Kathleen
things
Lights?
that I have.
Hers is
I also
huge.
follow Jackie Ina on TikTok, and she's a huge perfume person. And I aspire to be a perfume girly. The problem is that I work in a job where I have to be very close to people very frequently, and a lot of people have aversions to like certain scents, or like, it makes them ill, or they're allergic or something like that. So I try to keep my scent clean, but not like, invasive.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I'm a deodorant girly.
Fair.
And I actually do really enjoy, just in case you're curious about deodorants, I do enjoy the Lumi lavender and sage deodorant. It works very well for me.
Very nice.
And then, and I'm also very sweaty. So like as a person, I'm
Aren't we
sorry to share that.
It's fine.
But it's true. And then I also really like the AKT London deodorant, which comes in a tube, and
Mm.
you have like it sold with like an applicator. So you squeeze a little bit on the tube and then you put it on like that. And
Huh.
it's none of these have like aluminums or any like
Mm.
bad ingredients. And those both work very well for me because I was on the native deodorant train for a while and it was not a
I
vibe.
can't. It
It
breaks
was
me out
bad.
every time.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, and it like didn't last very
That
long.
too.
I honorable mention for deodorants would be Salt and Stone. They
Mm.
have a really good deodorant and the cap is screw on. So like if you throw it in your bag or whatever, it doesn't get everywhere. Anyway.
Nice.
Okay. So do you want me to go first while I'm
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
roll
Yeah. Yeah.
already?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as far as perfumes go, and I only have three because
It's okay.
that's who I am as a person. Okay. All right. So the first one, this was a recommendation I got on TikTok.
Okay.
Um and I got it on Amazon. It's
Mm-hmm.
called Chai Spice,
Oh.
and it's an Eau de Perfume. It's 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters, and it's a good fall scent. It smells
Mm.
like warm, like just have a hot cup of tea in the fall,
That
like
smells good. I can
that
feel
vibe.
it.
It's so lovely. I love like warm smelling things.
Mm-hmm. Me as
It's the
well.
best. I'm right now I'm in the hunt to like try and find a springy like summer scent that's like
Yeah.
more floral and like fun. But my fall scents,
Yeah.
that's who I am as a person.
That's fair.
Yes. So I love this one. I use it once in a while. And then I have this travel size one because the full size is too expensive for me right now.
That's fair.
I love buying the travel size because it's not as big of a commitment. You'll see
That's
what I mean in a minute.
yes.
It's like shameful. So okay, so this is Clean Reserve Skin.
Okay.
And I got it at Sephora, and it's like part of their clean perfume brands.
Nice.
And this one, it also smells very warm, but it's a little bit more floral.
Yeah.
And this is like my everyday. Like I would wear this every day. I don't wear it to work, obviously, because
Right.
vibes. But like if I had like a corporate girly job, I would wear this every day because
Nice.
it's like so tolerable for me. And when I spray it on, it like mixes with everything else I've got going on, like
That's so
very
important.
nicely.
I don't think people
Um,
understand that either. You
yeah.
really have to
Yeah.
spray it around you because your body chemistry is what
Hmm.
sets the scents off. And
Yeah.
sometimes if it smells good in the bottle, it's not guaranteed to smell good on
Hmm.
your skin. I
Hmm.
have had that
And
happen to me.
same. I when I was younger, I got the Viva La Juicy
Yeah.
perfume and I liked the smell of it, but then I sprayed it on me and like after a while I was
Yep.
like I smell like a grandma. I can't put this on anymore. It's
It's
so bad.
weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so bad. So this is my favorite and it's like this is like $25, but the actual bottle is like 100.
So
So
expensive.
anyway, but I love, love, love this. I've already gone through one of these already.
Nice.
So anyway. And then finally, this is my very fancy
Oh.
YSL
Oh.
perfume. This is the I immediately just forgot the name. I'm like out of
Why don't they put them on
immediately
these?
hold on. Let me I hold on. I'll find it. Give me
It's
one
fine.
second. YSL. Oh, it's Libre. It's YSL Libre. That's what it is.
YSL Libre.
Okay. And I bought the big bottle because this is the scent that I wore when I got married.
Aww.
And I love it. It's again, this one's more floral and more like springy and summery
Yeah.
than the other two. And it's very potent. So I like try to use it sparingly.
Yeah.
But anytime I have like a special occasion, I wear this and it's everything.
Nice.
It smells so good.
It looks very pretty.
Thank you so much. This is like the most expensive thing I own.
That's what stresses me out though, because they are so expensive. And
I
like
know.
I want to buy to your point about the travel size, I want to buy the big bottles, but they do expire, people. Like eventually the
Yeah.
scents do break down and they
Yeah.
no longer smell the same. And like I want to buy the big bottle, but does it make sense? I don't
I know.
know. Like
I know.
I don't know.
Um, the other thing I will say is when I was a kid, my mom inherited from my grandmother
Mm-hmm.
this like tray, and it's like got a mirrored bottom, and it's like very
Ooh,
ornate on the sides, and it had like perfume bottles, like the old fashioned kind that are like glass and like beautiful,
so
where if you
cute.
pour perfume in them and then you pull out the stick and then you like rub it on.
Yeah.
And I used to play with that all the time, like on her dresser.
Oh,
It was so cool.
I've always wanted the ones where
Um,
you can like squeeze like the puff
oh
and you're
yeah.
like, ah.
Hmm.
I always want to do that,
Yeah.
but I know I just spray it in my mouth.
Right. Yeah. It would be a problem.
It would.
Honorable mention, this is a lotion that I really love the smell of, and I just
That
recently
counts.
found this. This is Youth to the People brand from Sephora. Again, like one of their clean brands, I think. And it is it's a complex of plant butters with aromatic notes of cedarwood, black pepper, fresh greens, and it's like supposed to like stimulate your senses. I don't know.
How to chew five gum.
But this is more like man smell. Um
Okay.
it's like more of like a gender
Sure.
neutral or masculine scent
Yeah.
probably. But I like it because I put it on after I shower, and it like makes me feel so luxurious, and it smells so good. I love the black pepper notes. I didn't realize that I really like I sampled it. So we were in Sephora before we were at the movie theater at the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was in Sephora and I was like, I need some lotion on my hands. Let me just like do a
Yeah.
little bit of this and see what it is. The whole movie, I don't even remember what
You're just like,
movie it was. I was just like
I've done that
smelling my
before.
hand, and I'm like, I need this lotion. So I got it.
That's great. I have a
Yeah.
similar story with a perfume, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So anyway, that's my smells. Thanks guys for paying attention.
I love that. Unfortunately, I am slowly but surely turning into a perfume girly. I have this
Yeah.
this crazy tray right here. Some of them are, of course, duplicates because I do have travel sizes of the ones that I genuinely like and can find.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, since you just told that story, I'll tell the story of this stupid Burberry Goddess perfume.
Oh
Okay?
no.
Let me tell you the story of this bitch, okay? I'm very aggressively upset about it, and it's in my clutches right now, and sometimes I just want to fight her, okay? So, I'm a vanilla person. I like,
Okay.
I also prefer a warm scent. I'm a cashmere, vanilla, kind of edging on a woodsy kind of smell person. And you piss me off. So, the problem is, I saw this and I always read the notes because I know what I like and it's very expensive. And even though I want to be adventurous, I just know myself, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking around and I smell this one and I'm like, oh my gosh, it smells okay. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
love the vanilla scent. And then I spray it on myself and I'm like, oh my gosh, it smells like hot ass. This is
Oh
disgusting
no.
and I hate it. I walk out of the store and we're like going on our day. I'm like, what is that smell? Something smells so delicious and so deep and lovely.
It was you.
It was freaking me. All I had to do was wait a few minutes, but I hate the initial scent. If you smell me when I initially spray this on my body, you're like, that is a wrong choice. That smells hot ass.
But then like when it
It
settles.
settles into my skin, and there's something so aggravatingly magical about this stupid perfume that
Mm-hmm.
I still own it, and I don't use it very often because I'm so mad at it. But
That's so interesting.
it is a really good perfume. I'm so pissed.
Talk
Anyway,
about a love-hate
it
relationship.
really is. Like, I hate it, and then I like walk around. We literally walked around the whole mall, and I was like, I'm going back to buy that stupid thing. I sat on it for 2 weeks, went back to the store, resprayed it, hated it, and walked out with it. So that's where we are.
Love
Anyway, that's Burberry Goddess.
Okay.
And this one, it is also an Eau de Parfum, so you're getting the 4 to 5 hours, which is why I just
Yeah.
needed to wait and be patient, but here I am. I also have this Prada candy.
Oh, nice. I've
And
heard that one's good.
this one I liked so much that I bought the travel size, and I went through quite a bit before I was like, nah, I'm just going to buy the big bottle. And of course, now I don't wear it every day because I don't go to work. But anyway, I
Mm.
mean, I work, but I don't go to work,
Right. You live at home.
I do. This one smells like a hot, sexy man.
Mm.
And like a sweet, hot, sexy man.
Do you know? Okay. Do you know what I really want to do with you now? We need to go
Whoa.
perfume.
What do
We
you
need
want to do with me, Blair?
we need to go perfume shopping
We
together.
do. We do. I would love to do that.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't.
okay.
So I don't remember how much I paid for this. It was probably like over $100, honestly. But this one was 30 milliliters or 1 fluid ounce. So similar to what you had. And the same as with this one. This one, genuinely, I would probably only wear this in the fall if I had to choose. It's
Mhm.
not a scent that I would use unless I was going to a very expensive dinner. Or like somewhere where I needed to smell like I had millions in the bank. That's how I
Sure.
would describe that.
Okay.
I have a so this one is another impulse though. I actually hate it now, which is why you'll see there's like basically nothing used. I got this at Anthropology.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Hold on. I
Yeah.
need to backtrack really quick.
Yeah,
because I
go
did
for it.
think about my Anthropology. Hold on. Let me see if I can grab it without wrecking everything on my desk.
Embarrassingly, I still have the price tag on it. So this one was $24.
Oh, yes. Oh, this is what I should use for my summer scent. I totally forgot. Okay, so this is from Anthropology. It's called Road Trip.
Oh,
And I got it, it was an impulse, like whatever.
yeah.
And I really, really like it. And I just never bought another one because I was looking for other stuff. But this,
You should buy another one.
I'm gonna buy another one, I think. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me of that because
You're
I
welcome.
totally forgot. Anyway,
You're
continue.
welcome. And this one is 50 milliliters, 1.7 fluid ounces. It was 24 US dollars or 26 Canadian dollars as of the time that I purchased it.
Mm.
And it's called Vanille. That it's literally what it's called. And look, it smells like when you first smell it, you're like, oh, that smells good. And then you go in for another smell and you're like, wow, that's really overwhelming. It genuinely just smells like straight, like if you took a vanilla flavoring and just poured it into a bottle.
Oh, so it's very stringent, like powerful.
It's a lot. And I liked it initially, and then I got it home and I was like, this does not smell good on me. So unfortunately, she's just hanging out with the crowd, but it's fine. Ironically, though, the one that I wear daily, and I bought another one, but this is how much I've used. Like,
Oh, wow.
this is
The whole thing.
This is my everyday. This
Okay.
is Fresh Cream Warm Cashmere by Philosophy.
Ooh, that sounds beautiful.
It is, when I tell you, I could wear this every season, and I do, every season, every day, no matter the occasion. This is my go-to. If I have any questions about the company I'm going to be in, this is the one I go for. This one is 2 fluid ounces, 60 milliliters, and it's an eau de toilette, so it doesn't last as long, but oh my god, I can't. I would respray this 1,000 times. It fills me with such a it's as if, take a moment. This is how they describe fragrances, I feel in like commercials. They're like,
I know.
I'm swimming in an ocean with Johnny Depp. But anyway.
Right. Yeah.
But this is how I would describe it. It smells like you just came in from walking around a snowy town into your fresh,
Girl.
warm home,
Yes.
and you just got hot cocoa and you're roasting marshmallows by your own fire in a comfy blanket. That's what it smells like.
That's what the chai spice
I
does
bet
for
it
me.
does.
And I feel like I would love
You would
that
love this.
perfume.
You would
I
love
need-
this.
Oh, I'm going to try it now.
Philosophy, delicious.
Okay.
I have expanded though. This is a more mature scent, and this is when I need to do mature activities. Like if I need to give a presentation and I need to feel good about myself.
I
This
need
is
to do some adulting that day.
Yes, exactly. This is a Coach perfume. It's in the red bottle. Don't ask me what it is. It's the one that smells like cherry. It is an Eau de Parfum, 30 milliliters, 1 fluid ounce. This really does smell like if cherries were business women. Okay? That's what this smells like. and it is so delicious. This is actually what I would consider like a late summer perfume.
Sure.
This one and the Burberry one were probably my most expensive purchases. So
That makes
whatever.
sense. They're
Yeah,
both designer brands.
they are.
Coach has, speaking of Coach, Coach has been putting out some cute bags
I
recently.
know. I really wanted the
I
cherry bag.
That is so cute. I saw that one. They also have one, like I have an orange bag,
Mm-hmm.
like a camera bag, what they
Yeah.
call it, you know? And I have like it's orange, like a light orange, and then I've got a pink and orange like strap that
So
goes with
cute.
it. And they have a green and pink strap.
Hi,
Or like
Chris.
or
Yes.
like a green and like it's like such a thick like camera bag strap, and I
Mm-hmm.
love it so much,
I love
and I
Coach.
need it. And then they have all of these really cute, like it's giving Hermes vibe
Yeah. They have been
in
coming out
some
with
of the
great
new
stuff.
bags. I
Have
know.
you found Coachtopia yet?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Because they also have really cute
Coachtopia,
stuff.
I will say, is not necessarily always my vibe.
Not always. They have some
Um,
randomly cute stuff, though.
they do. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Chris.
He is not going to like what we're talking about.
We're talking about perfumes.
Yeah.
Um, okay. The other, so I went on a cherry kick. Anyway, doesn't matter. I have a travel size of the Kayali, which went viral because she
Mm.
has both a vanilla and a cherry scent. The vanilla, straight ass. This one, though, Love Fest Burning Cherry number 48, iconic. I would say if you want a. Everything's falling apart. If you want a dupe for the Coach one, I would actually say this one's pretty close.
You're such an influencer. Little click,
Ew,
click.
gross. Do I need to tap it with my non-existent nails right now?
Right? ASMR perfume edition.
So true. Um, this one I hate, which made me sad.
Oh.
This is Skylar, and so talking about clean beauty, right?
Mhm, mhm.
This is Skylar Clean Beauty, and I went for it, one, because it says Vanilla Sky. It is an Eau de Parfum, so I was getting the full thing. But number one, I have a hard time with the roller balls because if I put it directly on my skin, I break out immediately.
Oh, interesting.
It doesn't smell like vanilla.
Oh,
It smells like such a cheap,
like
and
vanilla and alcohol.
it doesn't even smell like that. It
Oh,
genuinely has like no scent that I can identify. It smells like a teenager perfume, and I don't mean that rudely, but it smells like a pretty generic teenager style perfume that you would just
sure.
buy, and you're like, I just want to smell different. It doesn't smell like vanilla at all.
Question. Speaking of teenager perfumes,
Yes.
I feel like the teens of today are not doing Victoria's Secret or Bath and Body Works as much. They're doing the Sol de Janeiro
They are,
sprays.
which I
How do
love.
you feel about those scents? Okay, I was just curious. I've only ever smelled the yellow one because that I got the lotion for that.
Yeah.
And I had the spray like a long time ago.
That's the
Um,
spray is the only one I like
okay.
of the yellow
Yeah,
one.
the yellow one.
The
Okay.
other ones I can do without.
Okay.
But the Sol de Janeiro spray was my go-to before I got the cashmere. If that's helpful. I like I sprayed that one so much I ran out of
That
like
tracks.
4 testers.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
I'm glad. I think we have similar
we do.
vibe. Okay.
We
All
do.
right. I love that for us. All right.
There you go, Chris. Self advertising. I love it. Um I'm so sorry. I have so many.
Go ahead.
This one I was gifted, and it's called Juliet Has a Gun.
I feel like I've heard of that one though, which is weird.
Um, I haven't worn it because it smells very masculine, um, but not masculine enough where I'd want to smell it on Tyler. So
Oh,
I've just
okay.
kind of kept it, but it is a travel size. Unfortunately, the print is kind of too small, but it
Okay.
is an eau de parfum. So, I mean, it's a travel size. It's all right.
Congratulations, Chris. I'm so glad that your son is potty trained.
Yeah, he had to call me to tell me he peed in the potty. Anyway,
Love that.
I do have a Victoria's Secret one, and it is tease,
Cute.
and it's so sexy. Okay. Like,
So
I would not wear this every day. This is a Tyler and I are going on a date night, and this is his favorite smell,
yeah.
so I'm gonna wear it.
Okay, so why does everyone's husband have a favorite smell? My husband is
Aunt
like, I can't
status.
smell anything. Like, I don't understand. And I'm like, smell it. No.
He literally, like, we were in Victoria's Secret, and he smelled it, and he's like, "You're wearing this." And I was like, "Okay,"
Oh.
and it was like very
Oh.
cute.
I don't think Chris has ever like
I love
been
Azra smell. Her regular smell, or does she wear a perfume that you like? That's my question. Go ahead, Blair.
yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say, I don't think he's ever been so like obsessed with the smell. He's not a smell person. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't like he
I
uses
thought you were gonna say he
old
doesn't smell, and I was like,
he
"That's
doesn't
good."
smell,
That's
but
good.
like because he has stuff that he.
Right. Sure.
But like it's just not. I don't know.
Chris is like Napoleon. Oh, natural. Unless we work outside in the summer. No, you love that smell.
Pheromones.
Pheromones. Speaking of pheromones, this is such a good segue. You didn't even know it.
Hmm, thank
I,
you.
I got recommended this by Tati. It's called Pure Instinct for Her.
Oh God.
It's a pheromone infused perfume oil.
Mm.
And it actually smells pretty good.
Okay.
I'm not going to say how we discovered it did nothing, but it's just a smell. Anyway,
Noted. Noted.
if you're curious, it didn't work. But anyway,
Okay. Good.
teas worked
Good.
better. So
I was gonna ask
I don't
you
know.
off
Tea-
off pod, but
It's
that's
fine.
good.
Teas
Good.
worked better. I feel
Got
like it was more the thought than it was the smell.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway,
Suggestive marketing.
correct. All right. And then my second half is literally just Tyler stuff because I feel like it makes sense. If there's dudes out there that are looking for smells and they want to know what
Yeah.
potentially other guys are wearing, Tyler's number one, which is why I, for some reason, have literally 3 different versions of it
Small, mini, large.
for every occasion. It's an eau de toilette, so it doesn't last very long, which is also why when you hear what the brand name is, you're going to be like, oh my God, but then you're going to be like, oh, it's a toilette. It doesn't last very long. It's a Versace, but it's Dylan Blue, and it's literally something he's been wearing since high school,
Wow.
which is a very long time, obviously.
Tell me you have expensive taste without telling me you have expensive taste.
I mean, this is like when I think of high school Tyler, this is 100% what I think of. He smelled like this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a good scent. This one's going bad. We need to replace it because it literally smells like ass. But everything else smells great. And it's literally one that he would wear all the time. And it smells really good. They say toilet weird. It's toilette, yes. She smells like the pink bottle at Victoria's Secret. Oh. There's a lot of pink bottles at Victoria's Secret, though. Is it Love Spell? Because that's a classic.
Love spells purple. At least
Is
the
it
last time I
purple?
checked. Yeah.
Oh, it's not.
Or it was
So.
back in the day.
This one is Dolce & Gabbana, which was also a gift. We didn't buy this. It's called Light Blue, and it is also an eau de toilette.
Oh, my aunt wears that, and
Ugh.
I tried to wear
smells
it.
good, but
It was
I don't think it would smell good on me. Tyler doesn't wear it.
it's potent.
It is a lot. Like,
Yeah.
anyway. But I also can't stop smelling it, so I'm going to stop because I'm going to make myself dizzy. Anyway, it's okay. It smells clean. Oh, and I guess I should say this one just smells like pure man, in my opinion. That's why he likes it so
We
much.
like that.
Then I have this really cute little robot guy that he wears every now and then. It's by Robaine, and it's called Robaine Phantom, sorry, and it's Paco Robaine is the name. And this is like a summer man smell. Like, it smells like a guy that has just come off the beach. He might be a little sweaty, but he's sun-kissed. And it's the most beautiful rainbow sunset you've ever seen behind him. That's what it smells like.
Oh, we love that.
Yeah, that's what it smells like. But it's I don't know what this one is. They're like mostly eau de toilettes for dude smells for some reason. But this one is a 3.4 fluid ounce, 100 milliliters.
Okay.
And then the last one, I'm sure you're all like, thank God, is something that we found at the Boot Barn. So
the Boot Barn.
We were in Tennessee and I walked by this and it was like, this is like his tease, but mine was like, you've got to smell like this. This smells so good. It's called Unmatched, and it is a belt buckle, which I think makes sense for where we found it.
The Boot Barn.
Boot Barn.
The Boot Barn.
I don't need to smell like that. I mean, you might. And it is actually it's called cologne spray, which really is just eau de cologne. It's whatever.
Sure.
You'll probably never find this unless you go to a Boot Barn or look it up online, because there's no branding. It's just literally unmatched. So, anyway.
It doesn't need any branding. It's unmatched.
You smell like a leather cowboy. That's what it smells like. A cowboy getting.
You know
off
what
of
Kirsten likes now.
No, you know, I like the deeper sense. If I had to say, it smells like a guy coming down a horse with assless chaps, and he's got his cowboy hat on, and he's chewing a piece of straw, and there's a beautiful sunset behind him. So, there's just sunsets everywhere. That's what dudes smell like, apparently. And thankfully,
not my vibe, but all right.
She hates sunsets.
No, I hate cowboys.
Okay. Poor Trace Atkins. He'd be hurt to hear that.
I'm okay with that, to be honest with you.
Anyway, that's all I have. Thank God. You know what? I'm gonna throw this one away.
I think that's a great idea.
It smells like pure ass, and I would never wear it. And I'm gonna do it right now.
Good job.
In the trash.
Everybody clap for Kirsten because she is not a hoarder. Everyone clapping.
Thank you. Yeah, everything else. I should probably get rid of the anthropology one too, but every now and then I walk in my room and I'm like, and I just walk out like a freaking weirdo. Because I'm like, you only smell good on the first whiff. What the hell? Going down on a horse? No, I said going down from a horse. That's two different things.
Also, don't use Bob Ross against us. Rude.
He's always so cheeky. Well, all of that's been fun. And since I've thrown away a perfume, I guess I'll start the outro music.
Yes, I think that's probably for the best.
Thanks for joining us tonight. No, boo. Boo. Now that you're here.
This has been a full almost 2 hours.
It has. We've really done. I can't help it that you're late, okay?
Yeah, honestly.
Seems like a personal problem. Also, Minial's also late. Hi, Minial.
Yeah.
Oop, I'm late. It'll be on YouTube, don't you worry.
It'll be on YouTube, exactly.
It'll also be a VOD on Twitch for a couple weeks. Always good to see you, Minial. I hope that you're well.
Not us like wrapping up the pod, talking to ourselves for like 2 hours, and everyone's like, "Oh hey,
oh hey, good to see you." It's also our fault because we were being productive and we were starting early. In fairness,
we started 15 minutes early, though. In fairness,
well, we usually start 15 minutes late. So anyway,
yeah.
Unfortunately, also, this will probably be our last podcast for quite a while. We're
not last podcast, last streamed podcast.
Yes, right. Yes, last stream podcast. All the other ones should continue as normal, our recorded ones. Unfortunately, we are both a little stressed out with a couple of moves coming up, and we need to focus on those right now. So in order to do that, we're just going to have to put this on hiatus. So enjoy the VOD and also our future podcasts.
And if you miss us, you can watch all of our Twitch streams on YouTube whenever you want.
Except for the last one we did, because you can't hear Blair for the first half.
It's very true. That one was weird.
Embarrass. Anyway, all is well. We'll see you guys at some point. Please feel free to give us 5 stars if you listen to our podcasts. Jinx is going to say, I'm sorry I threw up on the pod, and then leave.
Yep.
And
he did throw up, though.
I'll just tub over Blair myself. Yeah. That makes sense.
Seems good.
Have a good rest of your week. Have a great weekend. And cheers to all of you guys. See
Bye.
you later. I have too many smells in my nose now.
Get some coffee beans.
Oh, that would have been so smart. I literally have ground coffee. I definitely could have done that. Miniel, don't lick us as we're leaving. That's weird.
Yeah, I feel violated.
Quick, give him the perfume bottle liquid. They used to drink that stuff anyway.
Ew.